Part I of Iphigenia in Aulis. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Iphigenia in Aulis by Euripides. Translated by Arthur Sanders Way, 1847-1930. Part I. Argument. When the hosts of Hellas were mustered at Aulis beside the narrow sea, with purpose to sail against Troy, they were hindered from departing thence by the wrath of Artemis, who suffered no favouring wind to blow. Then, when they inquired concerning this, Calchas the prophet proclaimed that the anger of the goddess would not be appeased save by the sacrifice of Iphigenia, eldest daughter of Agamemnon, captain of the host. Now she abode yet with her mother in Mycenae, but the king wrote a lying letter to her mother, bidding her send her daughter to Aulis, there to be wedded to Achilles. All this did Odysseus devise, but Achilles knew nothing thereof. When the time drew near that she should come, Agamemnon repented him sorely. And herein is told how he sought to undo the evil, and of the maiden's coming, and how Achilles essayed to save her, and how she willingly offered herself for Hellas' sake, and of the marvel that befell at the sacrifice. Scene: in the Greek camp at Aulis, outside the tent of Agamemnon. Night. A lamp burning in Agamemnon's tent. Old servant waiting without. Agamemnon appears at entrance of tent. Agamemnon. Ancient, before this tent come stand. Old Servant coming forward. I come. What purpose hast thou in hand, Agamemnon, my king? Agamemnon. And wilt thou not hasten? Old Servant. I haste, for the need of mine eld scant sleep provideth. This eld o'er mine eyelids like vigilant sentry is placed. Agamemnon. What star in the heaven's height yonder rideth? Old Servant. Sirius. Nigh to the Pleiads seven, he is sailing yet through the midst of heaven. Agamemnon. Sooth, voice there is none, nor slumberous cheep, of bird nor whisper of sea, and deep is the hush of the winds on Euripus that sleep. Old Servant. Yet without thy tent, Agamemnon, my lord, why dost thou pace thus feverishly? Over Aulis yonder is night's peace poured. They are hushed which along the walls keep ward. Come, pass we within. Agamemnon. I envy thee, ancient, and whoso unperilled may pace life's pathway unheeded and unrenowned. But little I envy the high in place. Old Servant. Yet the life of these is glory crowned. Agamemnon. Ah, still with the glory is peril bound. Sweetly ambition tempteth, I trow. Yet is it neighbour to sore disquiet. For the gods' will clasheth with man's will now, wrecking his life, by men that riot with diverse desires, whom one cannot content. Now is the web of a life's work rent. Old Servant. Nay, in a king I love not this repining. Atreus begat thee, Agamemnon, not only to bask in days all cloudless shining. Needs must be joy and sorrow in thy lot. Mortal thou art, though marred be thy designing, still to fulfilment is the gods' will brought. Thou the star glimmer of thy lamp hast litten, writest a letter, in thine hand yet grasped, then thou erasest that which thou hast written, sealest and breakest bands as soon as clasped, castest to earth the pine slip, ever streaming tears from thine eyes, nor lacketh anything of madness in thy mien, despairful seeming. What is thy grief, thy strange affliction, king? Come, let me share thy story. To the loyal thou wilt reveal it, to the true and tried, whom at thy bridal with the dower royal Tyndareus sent to wait upon thy bride. Agamemnon. 3 daughters Leda, child of Thestius, bare, Phoebe and Clytemnestra, mine own wife, and Helen. Wooing this last, princes came in fortune foremost in all Hellas land. With fearful threatenings breathe they murder, each against his rivals, if he won her not. Then sore perplexed was Tyndareus her sire, how, giving or refusing, he should 'scape shipwreck. And this thing came into his mind, that each to each the suitors should make oath, and clasp right hands, and with burnt sacrifice should pour drink offerings, and swear to this, whose wife soever Tyndareus' child should be, him to defend. If any from her home stole her and fled, and thrust her lord aside, to march against him and to raze his town, Hellene or alien, with their mailed array. So when they had pledged them thus, and cunningly old Tyndareus had by craft outwitted them, he let his daughter midst the suitors choose, him unto whom love's sweet winds wafted her. She chose. Oh, had she never chosen him, Menelaus! Then from Phrygia he who judged the goddesses, as Argive legend tells, to Sparta came, his vesture flower bestarred, gleaming with gold, barbaric bravery, loved Helen and was loved, stole her and fled to Ida's steadings, when from home afar Menelaus was. Through Hellas frenzy stung he sped, invoking Tyndareus' ancient oath, claiming of all their bond to help the wronged. Thereat upsprang the Hellene, spear in hand, donned mail of fight, and to this narrow gorge of Aulis came, with galleys and with shields, and many a horse and chariots many arrayed. And me for Menelaus' sake they chose for chief, his brother. Would some other man might but have won the honour in my stead. Now when the gathered host together came, at Aulis did we tarry weather bound. Then the seer Calchas bade in our despair slay Iphigenia, her whom I begat, to Artemis who dwelleth in this land. So should we voyage, and so Phrygia smite. But if we slew her not, it should not be. I, when I heard this, bade Talthybius dismiss the host with proclamation loud, since I would never brook to slay my child. Whereat my brother, pleading manifold pleas, to the horror thrust me. In a tablet's folds I wrote, and bade therein my wife to send our daughter, as to be Achilles' bride. Extolled therein the hero's high repute. Said with Achaea's host he would not sail, except a bride of our house came to Phthia. Yea, this I counted should persuade my wife. Such framing of feigned spousals for the maid. This none Achaean knoweth with me, save Calchas, Odysseus, Menelaus. Now that wrong I here revoke, and write the truth within this scroll, which in the gloom of night thou saw'st me, ancient, open and reseal. Up, go, this letter unto Argos bear, and what the tablet hideth in its folds, all things here written, will I tell to thee. For loyal to my wife and house art thou. Old Servant. Speak and declare, that my tale heard ring true beside the written word. Agamemnon reads. This add I to my letter writ before. O child of Leda, do thou send Thy daughter not unto the waveless shore Of Aulis, where the bend Of that sea pinion of Euboea lies Gulf shapen. Ere we celebrate Our daughter's marriage tide solemnities, A season must we wait. Old Servant. Yet, if Achilles lose his plighted spouse, will not his anger's tempest swell Against thee and thy wife? Sure, perilous is this. Thy meaning tell. Agamemnon. His name no more Achilles lends, hath known Naught of a bride, nor aught we planned, Nor how to him I have in word alone Given my daughter's hand. Old Servant. Fearfully, Agamemnon, was this done, that thou shouldst bring thy child, O king, hither, named bride unto the goddess' son, yet a burnt offering. Agamemnon. Woe! I am all distraught. I am reeling ruinward. Speed thy foot, ancient, slacking not for eld. Old Servant. I speed, my lord. Agamemnon. Sit thee not down where the forest founts leap, neither be bound by the spell of sleep. Old Servant. Breathe not such doubt abhorred. Agamemnon. When thou comest where ways part, keenly then watch, lest a chariot escape thy ken, whose rolling wheels peradventure may bear my daughter hitherward, even to where be the ships of the Danaan men. For if thou light on her escort train, then turn them aback, grasp, shake the rein, to the walls Cyclopean speed them again. Old Servant. Yea, this will I do. Agamemnon. From the gates forth go. Old Servant. Yet how shall thy wife and thy daughter know my faith herein, that the thing is so? Agamemnon. Keep thou this seal, whose impress lies on the letter thou bearest. Away! The skies already are grey, and they kindle afar with the dawn's first flush and the sun god's car. Now help thou my strait. [Exit Old Servant. No man to the end is fortunate, happy is none, for a lot unvexed never man yet won. [Exit. Enter Chorus. Chorus. I have come to the Aulian sea gulf's verge, to her gleaming sands. I have voyaged Euripus' rushing surge from the city that stands, Queen of the sea gate, Chalcis mine, on whose bosom fold Arethusa gleameth, the fountain divine. Have come to behold the Achaean array, and the heroes' oars that shall onward speed 1,000 galleys to Troyland's shores. These two kings lead. Yea, with Prince Menelaus the golden haired, as our own lords say. And with King Agamemnon all these fared On the vengeance way, on the quest of her whom the herdman drew From beside the river of whispering reeds, his sin wage due, Aphrodite the giver, promised when into the fountain down Spray veiled she descended, when with Hera and Pallas for beauty's crown The Cyprian contended. And through Artemis' grove of sacrifice hasting I came, while swift in my cheeks did the crimson rise, the roses of shame. For to look on the shields, on the tents agleam With arms was I fain, and on thronging team upon chariot team there marked I twain, the oiled Aias and Telamon's child, Salamis' pride, by the shifting maze of the draughts beguiled, Sat side by side. Protesilaus and he that was sprung of Poseidon's seed, Palamedes, and there by the strong arm flung of Diomede Did the discus leap, and he joyed therein, and hard beside him Was Meriones of the war god's kin, men wondering eyed him. And Laertes' son from the isle hills far, through the sea haze gleaming, And Nireus of all that host of war, the goodliest seeming. Mesode. There was Achilles, whose feet are as winds for the storm rush unreined. Him I beheld, who of Thetis was born, who of Chiron was trained. Clad in his armour he raced, over sand, over shingle he strained, Matching in contest of swiftness his feet with a chariot of 4, Rounding the sweep of the course for the victory, rang evermore Shouts from ferreted Eumelus, and I with the goad that he bore. Smote he his horses most goodly, I saw them, saw gold glitter deck Richly their bits, and the midmost the car yoke who bore on their neck. Dappled were they, with a hair here and there like a snow smitten fleck. They that in traces without round the perilous turning post swept, bays were they, spotted their fetlocks? Peleiades beside them on leapt, sheathed in his harness, unflagging by car rail and axle he kept. Strophe 2. And I came where the host of the warships lies, a marvel past telling, To fill with the vision a woman's eyes and a heart joy swelling. And there on the rightward wing arrayed Was Phthyia's Myrmidon battle aid, 50 galleys, swift for the war, with the ranks of oars by their bulwarks swayed, And high on their sterns in effigies golden The Nereid goddesses gleamed afar, the sign by Achilles' host upholden. Antistrophe 2. Hard by, keels equal by tale unto these, did the Argives gather. With Teleus' fosterling passed they the seas, Maiestius his father, and with Sthenelus, Capaneus' son, at his side, And there did the galleys of Attica ride, With the scion of Theseus, the next to the left, ships 80, and the peerless pride of their blazonry was a winged car bearing Pallas with horses of hoofs uncleft, a blessed sign unto folk seafaring. Strophe 3. Boethia's barks, sea plashing, 50 there lay. I marked their ensigns flashing, Cadmus had they, whose golden dragon shone on each stern's garnison, and Laetus, Earth's son, led their array. Galleys from Phocis came, and Locrian barks, the same by tale went Thronium's fame 'neath Aias' sway. Antistrophe 3. Atreides' Titan Pallas Mycenae sent. Thronged decks of 50 galleys his brother went, as friend with friend, to take her, whom the home bonds break for alien gallants' sake, for chastisement. Their ships of Pylos' king, Gerenian Nestor, bring the weird bull blazoning that Alpheus lent. Epode. Guneus, king of Aenean men, marshalled galleys 2 and 10. Hard thereby the bulwarks tower of the lords of Elis' power, whom the host Epeans name. Aretus to lead them came. Led the Taphians argent oared, therewithal, which owned for lord Phyleus' scion Megas, who from the Echinad isles, whereto no man sails, his war host drew. Aias Salamis' fosterling held in touch his rightward wing with their left who nearest lay. Helm obeying keels were they 12, which marshalled uttermost closed the line that fringed the coast, as I heard, and now might mark. Whoso with barbaric bark meets him from the grapple stern, never home shall he return. Lo, the goodly sea array that mine eyes have seen to day, erst the great war muster's story through mine home rang, now its glory in mine heart shall live for aye. Enter Old Servant, grasping at a letter which Menelaus has snatched from him. Old Servant. Menelaus, this is outrage. Shame on thee. Menelaus. Stand back. Thou art all too loyal to thy lord. Old Servant. A proud reproach thou castest upon me. Menelaus. If thou o'erstep thy duty, thou shalt rue. Old Servant. 'Tis not for thee to unseal the scroll I bear. Menelaus. Nor yet for thee to bring to all Greeks bane. Old Servant. With others argue that, but this restore. Menelaus. I will not yield it up. Old Servant. Nor I let go. Menelaus. Soon then my staff shall dash thine head with blood. Old Servant. Glorious it were in my lord's cause to die. Menelaus. Unhand! A slave, thou art over full of words. Old Servant. Ho, master! Outrage! Lo, this man hath snatched by violence thy letter from mine hand. Agamemnon, nor will have regard to right. Enter Agamemnon. Agamemnon. Ha! What this tumult at my doors, and this unseemly brawl upstirred? Menelaus. Mine the right to speak is, mine before this fellow to be heard. Agamemnon. Wherefore dost thou strive with him, Menelaus, and by violence hail? Menelaus releases the Old Servant, who exits. Menelaus. Look me in the face, that I may make beginning of the tale. Agamemnon. Shall I dread to lift mine eyelids, who of dreadless Atreus came? Menelaus. Seest thou this tablet, this the bearer of a tale of shame? Agamemnon. I behold it, and from thine hand first do thou surrender it. Menelaus. Never, ere I show to all the Danaans that therein is writ. Agamemnon. How? And didst thou break my seal, and knowst thou what thou shouldest not? Menelaus. Yea, unto thy sorrow break it, that I know thy secret plot. Agamemnon. Ay, and where didst find it? Gods, what front of impudence is here? Menelaus. Watching if thy child from Argos to the host were drawing near. Agamemnon. What dost thou to spy upon me? Is not this done shamelessly? Menelaus. Mine own pleasure was my warrant. I am not thy bondman, I. Agamemnon. Is not this outrageous? Wouldst thou limit in mine house my power? Menelaus. Yea, thy thoughts are shifty, changing ever with the changing hour. Agamemnon. Subtly hast thou glozed the evil. Hateful is the artful tongue. Menelaus. But the treacherous heart, to friends disloyal, is a hoard of wrong. I would question thee, and do not thou with spirit angered jarred. Fence aside from thee the truth, nor I will press thee over hard. Hast forgotten how thou fain wouldst lead the Greeks to Ilium's shore? Feign'st not to wish the thing, but in thine heart didst crave it sore. How to all men wast thou lowly, clasping hands of amity, keeping open doors for whoso of the folk would seek to thee, bidding all accost thee freely, challenging the modest heart, seeking by thy shifts to buy advancement as in open mart? Ah, but when thy power was won, thou changedst all thy mien. No more wast thou unto friends of days gone by a friend as theretofore. Inaccessible and seldom found at home, the noble souled ought not, raised to high estate, to turn him from the paths of old. Nay, but more than ever loyal then unto his friends should be, when his power to help is more than ever through prosperity. First therein, where first I found thee base, I visit thee with blame. Then, when thou and all the host of Hellas unto Aulis came, naught wast thou, at heaven's visitation utterly dismayed. When the wafting breezes failed thee, when the sons of Danaus bade send the ships disbanded thence, nor toil at Aulis all in vain. O thy rueful face, thy wildered eye, lest thou on Priam's plain, thou, the captain of 1,000 galleys, ne'er shouldst pour thy spears. What shall I do, didst thou ask me? What device and whence appears? That of lordship I be not bereft, nor lose my fair renown. Then when Calchas on the altar bade thee lay thy child's life down, unto Artemis the Danaids so should sail, with gladness filled, blithely promised thou to slay thy daughter, yea, didst send free-willed, not constrained, thou canst not say it, to thy queen, that hitherward she should send thy child, as who should take Achilles for her lord. Lo, the selfsame sky o'erhead which heard thee then record thy vow. Now thou turn'st about, art found recasting that thy message now, saying thou wilt ne'er be slayer of thy child. So is it still. Many and many a man is like thee, toileth with unflagging will up the heights of power, thereafter from its summit falls with shame. Some through blindness of the people, some be all themselves to blame. They whose nerveless hands can ward the city not that they have won, but for me, 'tis hapless Hellas most of all that I bemoan. Fain she is of high achievement, yet shall caitiff aliens make her a mock, who 'scape her hands for thine, and for thy daughter's sake. Ne'er may I, for kinship's cause, exalt a man to rule the land, nor to lead a host he needeth wisdom who would men command. For 'tis his to helm a nation, who hath wit to understand. Chorus. Fearful 'twixt brethren words of high disdain and conflict are when into strife they fall. Agamemnon. Now would I in turn upbraid thee briefly, not exalting high shameless brows of haughty scorning, nay, but ever soberly, as becomes a brother, for the noble hold by chivalry. Answer, why this breath tempestuous? Why these bloodshot eyes of strife? Who doth wrong thee? What dost crave? Dost yearn to win a virtuous wife? This I cannot find thee. Her thou gainest, vilely rulest thou. What? Must I, who have not erred, for thy transgression suffer now? Or doth mine advancement gall thee? Nay, but one desire thou hast, in thine arms to clasp a lovely woman. Reason dost thou cast, yea, and honour to the winds. The pleasures of the vile are base. I, who erst took evil counsel, if I now give wisdom place, am I mad? Nay, rather thou, who having lost an evil spouse, wouldst rewin her, though thy loss be gain, God's kindness to thy house. Those infatuate, marriage-craving suitors swore an oath indeed unto Tyndareus. Yet these did hope, I trow, the goddess lead on, and brought it more to pass than thou and all thy strong control. Lead them thou. Oh, these are ready in the folly of their soul. God is not an undiscerning judge. His eyes are keen to try Oaths exacted by constraint, and troth plight held unrighteously. 'Tis not I will slay my children, not injustice's despite, so shall thine avenging on a wife must want in speed aright. While I waste through nights of weeping, pine through days of misery, for my lawless, godless dealing with the children born to me. Lo, mine answer, brief and clear, and easy to be understood. If thou turn from wisdom, yet shall mine house follow after good. Chorus. This controverteth that thou saidst before. Yet good is thy resolve to spare thy child. Menelaus. Alas for wretched me! Friends have I none? Agamemnon. Yea, if thou seek not to destroy thy friends. Menelaus. How wilt thou prove thyself our father's son? Agamemnon. By brotherhood in wisdom, not in folly. Menelaus. Friends ought to feel friends' sorrow as their own. Agamemnon. By kindness, not unkindness, challenge me. Menelaus. Wilt thou not then with Greece this travail share? Agamemnon. Hellas, like thee, hath God's stroke driven mad. Menelaus. Vaunt then thy sceptre, traitor to thy brother. I will betake me unto other means and other friends. Enter Messenger in haste. End of Part 1. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Part 2 of Iphigenia in Aulis by Euripides. Translated by Arthur Sanders Way, 1847 to 1930. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Part 2. Messenger. O King of Hellas' host, Agamemnon, lo, thy child I bring to thee, named of thee Iphigenia in thine halls. Her mother Clytemnestra comes with her, Orestes too, the babe, to glad thine eyes, who from thine home long time hast sojourned far. But after weary journeying, at a spring fair flowing now the women bathe their feet, they and their steeds. For midst the meadow grass we turned them loose, that they might browse therein. I, to prepare thee, their forerunner come. For the host knoweth it, so swiftly spread the rumour of the coming of thy child. And to the sight runs all the multitude to see thy child, for folk in high estate famed and observed of all observers are. A bridal is it, they ask? Or what is toward? Or hath the king of yearning for his child sent for his daughter? Others mightst thou hear. To Artemis, to Aulis queen, they pay the maiden's spousal rites. The bridegroom who? Up then, prepare the maunds for sacrifice, garland your heads. Thou too, Prince Menelaus, strike up the bridal hymn, and through the tents let the flute ring with sound of dancing feet. For gladsome dawns this day upon the maid. Agamemnon. 'Tis well. I thank thee. Pass thou now within. Well shall the rest speed as fate marcheth on. [Exit Messenger. Woe's me! What can I say, or where begin? Into what bonds of doom have I been cast? Me Fortune hath outwitted. She hath proved too cunning far for all my stratagems. Lo now, what vantage cleaves to lowly birth? For such may lightly ease their hearts with tears, and tell out all their grief. The same pangs touch the high born, but our life is tyrannized by dignity. We are the people's thralls. So it is with me, for I shame to weep, and yet shame not to weep, wretch that I am, who am fallen into deepest misery. Lo now, what shall I say unto my wife? Or how receive her? With what countenance meet? She hath undone me, coming midst mine ills unbidden. Yet 'twas reason she should come with her own child, to render to the bride love service. where I shall be villain found. And the unhappy maid, why name her maid? Hades, meseems, shall take her soon for bride. O me, the pity of it! I hear her pray, "Ah, Father, wilt thou slay me? Now such bridal mayst thou too find, and all whom thou dost love." Orestes at her side shall wail the grief unmeaning, deep with meaning of the babe. Alas, how Priam's son hath ruined me, Paris, whose sin with Helen wrought all this. Chorus. I also, far as alien woman may mourn for the griefs of princes, pity thee. Menelaus. Brother, vouchsafe to me to grasp thine hand. Agamemnon. I give it. Thine the triumph, mine the pang. Menelaus. I swear by Pelops, of my sire and thine, named father, and by Atreus our own sire, that from mine heart's core I will speak to thee, to serve no end, but all mine inmost thought. I, seeing how thine eyes are streaming tears, pity thee, and the answering tear I shed. And from the words erst uttered I draw back, thy foe no more. Lo, in thy place I stand, and I exhort thee neither slay thy child nor choose my good for thine. Unjust it were that thou shouldst groan, and all my cup be sweet, that thy seed die and mine behold the light. For what would I? Can I not find a bride peerless elsewhere, if I for marriage yearn? How should I lose, whom least I ought to lose, a brother, win a Helen, bad for good? Mad was I and raw‐witted, till I viewed things near, and saw what slaying children means. Yea, also, pity for the hapless maid, doomed to be slaughtered for my bridal's sake, stole o'er me on our kinship when I thought. For what with Helen hath thy child to do? From Aulis let the host disbanded go, but thou forbear to drown thine eyes with tears, O brother mine, nor challenge me to weep. If thou hast part in oracles touching her, no part be mine. My share I yield to thee. Swift change is here, thou'lt say, from those grim words. Nay, but most meet. For love of him who sprang from the same womb I change. No knaves want this, ever to cleave unto the better part. Chorus. Right noble speech, and worthy Tantalus, Zeus' son. Thou shamest not thine ancestors. Agamemnon. Thanks, Menelaus, that beyond all hope thou hast spoken rightly, worthily of thee. Strife betwixt brethren for a woman's sake may rise, or of ambition. Out on it! This kinship that brings bitterness to both. Nay, but we are tangled in the net of fate. We needs must work the murder of my child. Menelaus. How? Who shall force thee to destroy thine own? Agamemnon. The whole array of the Achaean host. Menelaus. Never, if thou to Argos send her back. Agamemnon. This might I secretly, that cannot I. Menelaus. What? Fear not thou the rabble overmuch. Agamemnon. Calchas will tell the hosts the oracles. Menelaus. Not if he first have died. This were not hard. Agamemnon. The whole seer tribe is one ambitious curse. Menelaus. Abominable and useless while alive. Agamemnon. The fear that steals o'er me, is this not thine? Menelaus. If thou tell not, how should I understand? Agamemnon. All this the seed of Sisyphus doth know. Menelaus. Odysseus cannot injure thee and me. Agamemnon. He is aye shifty, a mob partisan. Menelaus. Thrall to ambition is he, perilous bane. Agamemnon. Will he not rise, think'st thou, in the Argive midst, and tell the oracles that Calchas spake, and how I promised Artemis her victim, and now play false? And rousing so the host, shall bid them slay thee, me, and sacrifice the maiden? Though to Argos I escape, yet will they come, destroy it, to the ground raze it with all its Cyclopean walls. Even this is mine affliction, woe is me! How by the gods I am whelmed amidst despair. Take heed for one thing, brother, through the host passing, that Clytemnestra hear this not, till I to Hades shall have sealed my child, that mine affliction be with fewest tears, and, stranger damsels, hold your peace thereof. [Exeunt. Chorus. Strophe. Oh well for them, for whom the Queen of Love Shall temper passion's fire, and bring fruition of desire With gentle pace and sober mien, whose souls are seas at rest, are spared The frenzy thrill, the fever pain, The spells that charm the arrows twain, The shafts of love, the golden haired. Whereof one flieth tipped with bliss, and one with ruin of unrest. O Queen of Beauty, from my breast, my bridal bower, avert thou this. Let love's sweet spells in measure meet, rest on me, pure desires be mine. May Aphrodite's dayspring shine on me, avaunt her mid-noon heat. Antistrophe. The hearts of men be diverse wrought, diverse their lives, but ever clear Through all true goodness shall appear, and each high lesson throughly taught Lends wings to soar to virtue's heaven. For in self-reverence wisdom is, and to discern the right, to this an all-transforming charm is given. Fadeless renown is shed thereby on life by fame. Ah, glorious the quest of virtue is! For us, the cloistered virtue, chastity. But for the man, his inborn grace Of law and order maketh great By service of her sons the state. His virtue works by thousand ways. Thou camest, Paris, back to where, Mid Ida's heifers snowy fair, Unnether'd thou didst pipe such strain That old Olympus' spirit there awoke again. Full uddered kine in dreamy peace Browsed when the summons came to thee To judge that goddess rivalry, Whose issue sped thee unto Greece, Before the ivory palaces to stand, To see in Helen's eyne, That burned on thine, the love light shine, To thrill with Eros' ecstasies. For which cause strife is leading all Hellas, with ships, with spears, to fall Upon Troy's tower coronal. Lo, lo, the great ones of the earth, how blest they be! Iphigenia, proud in birth, from princes see. See Clytemnestra, her who came Of Tyndareus, O stately name, Of mighty sires, O crowned with fame Their destiny. They that be lifted high in wealth, in might, Are even as gods in meaner mortal sight. Enter, riding in a chariot, Clytemnestra and Iphigenia, with attendants. Stand we, Calchas' daughters, near, Stretching hands of kindly aid. So unstumbling to the ground Down the queen shall step, nor fear Shall the princess know, upstayed, Agamemnon's child renowned. Strangers we, no tumult here make we. Entrance undismayed be of Argos strangers found. Clytemnestra. An omen of good fortune count I this, Thy kindness and fair greeting of thy speech. Good hope have I that I am come to lead The bride to happy bridal. From the car Take ye the dower that for the maid I bring, And bear to the pavilion with good heed. And thou, my daughter, from the horse wain step, Daintily setting down thy tender feet. And ye receive her, damsels, in your arms, And from the chariot help her safely forth. And let one lend to me a propping hand, That I may leave the wain seat gracefully. Some, pray you, stand before the horse's yoke, For timorous is the horse's restive eye. And this child take ye, Agamemnon's boy, Orestes, who is yet a wordless babe. How? Lulled to sleep, child, by the swaying car? Wake, for thy sister's bridal smilingly. For thine heroic strain shall get for kin A hero, even the Nereids' godlike child. Hither, my daughter, seat thee at my side. Hard by thy mother, Iphigenia, take Thy place, and to these strangers show my bliss. Lo, thy beloved father, welcome him. Enter Agamemnon. Iphigenia, running to his arms. O mother, I outrun thee, be not wroth. and heart to heart I clasp my father close. Clytemnestra. O most of me revered Agamemnon, king, we come, obedient unto thy behest. Iphigenia. Fain am I, father, on thy breast to fall, after so long, though others I outrun, for I yearn for thy face. Be not wroth. Clytemnestra. Child, this thou mayst. Yea, ever most of all the children I have borne, thou lov'st thy sire. Iphigenia. Father, so long it was, so glad am I. Agamemnon. And glad am I. Thy words suffice for twain. Iphigenia. Hail! Well hast thou done, father, bringing me. Agamemnon starts. Well? Child, I know not how to answer this. Iphigenia. Ha! So glad to see me, yet what troubled look? Agamemnon. On kings and captains weigheth many a care. Iphigenia. This hour be mine, this one, yield not to care. Agamemnon. Yea, I am all thine now, my thoughts stray not. Iphigenia. Unknit thy brow then, let love melt thine eye. Agamemnon. Lo, child, I joy, as I joy seeing thee. Iphigenia. And yet thine eyes are welling tears. Agamemnon. Yea, for the absence yet to come is long. Iphigenia. I know not, dear my sire, thy meaning. Agamemnon. Thy wise discernment stirs my grief the more. Iphigenia. So I may please thee, folly will I talk. Agamemnon. Ah me! Aside. This silence breaks my heart. Aloud. I thank thee. Iphigenia. Stay, father, with thy children stay at home. Agamemnon. I would. My wish is barred. There lies my grief. Iphigenia. Perish their wars and Menelaus' wrongs. Agamemnon. My ruin shall be others' ruin first. Iphigenia. Long absence thine hath been in Aulis gulf. Agamemnon. Still hindered is the army's speeding forth. Iphigenia. Where dwell the Phrygians, father, as men say? Agamemnon. Where? Oh, that Priamid Paris ne'er had dwelt. Iphigenia. Far dost thou voyage, father, leaving me? Agamemnon. Thou art in like case with thy father, child. Iphigenia. Sighs. Would it were meet that I might voyage with thee. Agamemnon. Thou too must voyage where thou shalt think on me. Iphigenia. Shall I sail with my mother, or alone? Agamemnon. Alone from mother severed, and from sire. Iphigenia. How? Hast thou found me, father, a new home? Agamemnon. Enough. It fits not maidens know such things. Iphigenia. Speed back from Phrygia, father, victor there. Agamemnon. A sacrifice must I first offer here. Iphigenia. Yea, thou must reverence heaven with holy rites. Agamemnon. This thou shalt see, shalt by the laver stand. Iphigenia. Father, shall I lead dances round the altar? Agamemnon. O happier thou in ignorance than I! Pass thou within where none but maids shall see. One sad kiss first, one clasp of thy right hand, Ere thy long sojourn from thy father far. O bosom, O ye cheeks, O golden hair! On you what burden Phrygia's town hath laid, And Helen! But no more. The sudden flood bursts o'er me from mine eyes As I touch thee. Pass into the pavilion. [Exit Iphigenia. Pardon me, O Leda's child. It well nigh breaks my heart To yield to Achilles' hand my daughter, mine. Such partings make for bliss, but none the less They wring the heart, when fathers to strange homes Yield children, for whose sake they have laboured long. Clytemnestra. I am not so dull. Be sure that I no less shall feel this pang. Wherefore I chide thee not, when I with marriage hymns Lead forth the maid. But custom joined with time shall deaden pain. His name to whom thou hast betrothed my child I know, his land, his lineage would I learn. Agamemnon. The nymph Aegina was Asopus' child. Clytemnestra. And did a mortal wed her, or a god? Agamemnon. Zeus. Aiaeus he begat, Oenone's lord. Clytemnestra. Which son of Aiaeus possessed his house? Agamemnon. Peleus. And Peleus wedded Nereus' child. Clytemnestra. By the god granted, or in heaven's despite? Agamemnon. 'Twas Zeus betrothed her, and her father gave. Clytemnestra. Where did he wed her? 'Neath the heaving sea? Agamemnon. Where Chiron dwells, at Palion's sacred foot. Clytemnestra. Where tribes of centaurs have their haunt, men say? Agamemnon. Yea, there the gods held Peleus' marriage feast. Clytemnestra. Did Thetis or his father rear Achilles? Agamemnon. Chiron, that he might learn not vile men's ways. Clytemnestra. Ay so. Wise was the teacher, wiser yet the sire. Agamemnon. Such hero is to be thy daughter's lord. Clytemnestra. None better. In what Greek town is his home? Agamemnon. On Phthyia's marches by Apidanus. Clytemnestra. Thither wilt thou lead hence thy child and mine? Agamemnon. Nay, his part this who taketh her to wife. Clytemnestra. Blessings on them. On what day shall they wed? Agamemnon. When comes full orbed the moon with blessing crowned. Clytemnestra. Hast slain the goddess victim for our child? Agamemnon. So purpose I, even this we have in hand. Clytemnestra. Thereafter wilt thou hold the marriage feast? Agamemnon. When to the gods I have offered offerings due. Clytemnestra. And I, where shall I make the women's feast? Agamemnon. Here, by the Argive galleys' stately sterns. Clytemnestra. Here, quotha? Yet it must be. Fair befall. Agamemnon. Know'st thy part, lady, then? My bidding do. Clytemnestra. What thing? Obedience is my wont to thee. Agamemnon. Here, where the bridegroom is, will I myself. Clytemnestra. What mother's office in mine absence do? Agamemnon. With help of Danaans give thy child away. Clytemnestra. But I, where must I tarry all this while? Agamemnon. To Argos go, for thy young daughter's care. Clytemnestra. And leave my child? And who shall raise the torch? Agamemnon. I will provide such bridal torch as fits. Clytemnestra. All custom outraged, naught is that to thee? Agamemnon. To mingle with armed hosts beseems not thee. Clytemnestra. Beseems that mother give away her child? Agamemnon. Nor that those maids at home be left alone. Clytemnestra. They in safe maiden bowers be warded well. Agamemnon. Nay, hear me. Clytemnestra. No. By the Argives' goddess queen, go order things without. Within doors I will order what is fitting for a bride. [Exit. Agamemnon. Ah me, vain mine essay! My hope is foiled, who out of sight was fain to send my wife. With subtle schemes against my best beloved I weave plots, yet am baffled everywhere. But none the less with Calchas will I go, the priest, the goddess pleasure to enquire. For me ill doom, for Hellas travail sore. The wise man in his house should keep a wife helpful and good, or never take a bride. Chorus. Unto Simois, unto the silver swirling eddies, shall come the Hellene host, with galleys, with battle gear onward hurling, to the plain of Phoebus, the Troyland coast, where tosseth Cassandra her tresses golden, with their garlands of green-leaved bay enfolden, as they tell when by mighty compulsion holden, her soul is on storm winds of prophecy tossed. On the heights of their towers shall the Trojans enringing The ramparts of Troy in their harness stand, When over the waters the War god bringing The stately galleys with oars to the strand Draweth near, where the runnels of Simois are sliding, To hail her in Priam's halls who is hiding, Sister of Zeus' sons, heaven abiding, With buckler and spear unto Hellas' land. And the war fiend shall girdle with slaughter Pergamus' towers of stone, And the captive's head back bend, That the throat‐shearing blade may descend, When low in the dust he hath brought her, Troy from her height overthrown. He shall make for her maids a lamenting, And the queen of Priam shall moan. And the daughter of Zeus shall know in that day, And the flood shall flow Of Helen's tears of repenting, Who hath left her husband lone. Over me, over mine, may there loom, No, not in the third generation, Never such shadow of doom As shall haunt each gold‐decked dame Of the Lydian, the Phrygian nation, As beside the weaving frame They shall wail to each other in fear and despair. Ah, who on the braids of my shining hair, Clenching his grip till my tears down shower, Me from my perishing country shall tear, As one plucketh a flower? For thy sake, child of the swan arch‐necked, If credence worthy the story be That Leda bare to a winged bird thee, When Zeus with its plumes had his changed form decked, Or whether in scrolls of minstrelsy Such tales unto mortals hath fable brought, Told out of season and all for naught. Enter Achilles. Achilles. Where is Achaea's battle chief hereby? What henchman will bear word that Peleus' son, Achilles at his gates is seeking him? This tarrying here falls not alike on all. For some there are of us who, yet unwed, Have left their dwellings wardenless, And here sit idle on the shore. Some that have wives and children. Such strange longing for this war Hath upon Hellas fallen by Heaven's will. Mine own, my righteous grievance must I speak. Let whoso will beside his own cause plead. Pharsalia's land and Peleus have I left, And through these light airs of Euripus wait, Checking my Myrmidons. Yet urgent aye they cry, "Why dally, Achilles? How long time Yet must the Troyward bound array Wait on? Act, if thou canst. Else lead thy war host home, Waiting no more on Atreus' sons' delays." End Part 2. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Part 3 of Iphigenia in Aulis by Euripides. Translated by Arthur Sanders Way, 1847 to 1930. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Part 3. Enter Clytemnestra. Clytemnestra. Child of the Nereid goddess, from within Thy voice I heard, and come without the tent. Achilles. Great queen of shamefastness, what lady here Behold I crowned with peerless loveliness? Clytemnestra. No marvel thou shouldst know me not, unseen ere this. Thy shrinking modesty I praise. Achilles. Who art thou? Why camest thou to Achaea's host, a woman unto men with bucklers fenced? Clytemnestra. I am Leda's daughter, Clytemnestra named am I. King Agamemnon is my lord. Achilles. Well hast thou said in brief what most imports, Yet shame were this, that I with women talk. Clytemnestra. Stay, wherefore flee? Nay, give me thy right hand to clasp, The prelude to espousals blest. Achilles. How say'st? Mine hand in thine? Ashamed were I before thy lord Of such unsanctioned touch. Clytemnestra. 'Tis wholly sanctioned, since thou art to wed my child, O son of the Lady of the Sea. Achilles. What wedding this? I know not what to say, Except of crazed wits this strange utterance come. Clytemnestra. 'Tis all men's nature so in shame to shrink Before new kin and talk of spousal rites. Achilles. Lady, thy daughter have I never wooed, Nor word of marriage Atreus' sons have said. Clytemnestra. What shall this mean? Thou marvel at my words in turn, for passing strange are thine to me. Achilles. Think. We have common cause to search out this. Perchance nor thou nor I speak false herein. Clytemnestra. How? Have I been abused? Seek I a bridal which is not, as doth seem? I am crushed with shame. Achilles. Some one perchance hath mocked both thee and me. Nay, lightly hold it, lay it not to heart. Clytemnestra. Farewell. I cannot with unshrinking eyes meet thine, who am made a liar, outraged so. Achilles. Farewell, I bid thee too. I pass within yonder pavilion now to seek thy lord. Old Servant from within the tent. Stranger, Aeacus' scion, tarry thou. What ho! To thee I call. Whom the goddess bare, and Leda's daughter, unto thee withal. Achilles. Who through doors half open calleth? Calleth with what fearful breath? Old Servant. Bond am I. The name I scorn not, neither fortune suffereth. Achilles. Whose? Not mine art thou. No part in Agamemnon's goods I have. Old Servant. Hers who stands before the tent. Me Tyndareus her father gave. Achilles. Lo, I stay. If aught thou wouldst, speak that for which thou bad'st me wait. Old Servant. Stand ye twain alone, none other near hereby before the gate? Achilles. Speak. Alone we are. From out the king's pavilion come thou nigher. Old Servant (entering from tent). Fortune and my foresight save ye them whose saving I desire. Achilles. Stately invocation this. It may for needs to come avail. Clytemnestra (as Old Servant is about to kneel to her). Linger not to touch mine hand, if thou to me wouldst tell thy tale. Old Servant. Loyal to thee and to thy children well thou knowest me, I ween. Clytemnestra. Yea, I know that from of old mine house's servant thou hast been. Old Servant. And that Agamemnon gat me in possession with thy dower? Clytemnestra. Thou to Argos camest with me, hast been mine unto this hour. Old Servant. So it is. To thee devoted more than to thy lord am I. Clytemnestra. Prithee, now unveil thy secret, whatsoe'er the mystery. Old Servant. Lo, thy child her very father with his own hands soon shall slay. Clytemnestra. How? Avaunt the story, ancient. Sure thy wit is all astray. Old Servant. Severing thine unhappy daughter's snowy neck with murder's sword. Clytemnestra. Oh, alas for me! Now haply murder frenzied is my lord. Old Servant. Sane, save touching thee and this thy daughter, only mad herein. Clytemnestra. What the reason? What avenging demon drives him to the sin? Old Servant. Oracles, as Calchas saith, that the host may pass the sea. Clytemnestra. Whither? Woe for me, for thee, whose father waits to murder thee. Old Servant. Unto Dardanus' halls, that Menelaus may bring Helen home. Clytemnestra. Ha! Is Helen's home returning, fraught with Iphigenia's doom? Old Servant. Thou hast all. The sire will sacrifice thy child to Artemis. Clytemnestra. And the marriage made the pretext, drew me from my home to this. Old Servant. So that thou shouldst gladly bring thy child to be Achilles' bride. Clytemnestra. Daughter, to destruction comest thou, and thy mother at thy side. Old Servant. Piteous lot is thine, is hers, an awful deed thy lord essayed. Clytemnestra. Woe is me! Undone! The fountains of my eyes may not be stayed. Old Servant. If 'tis pain to be bereft of children, let the tear flood flow. Clytemnestra. Nay, but ancient, whence hast heard it, sayest thou? How dost thou know? Old Servant. With a letter touching that aforetime written, hasted I. Clytemnestra. Countermanding? Or re-urging me to bring my child to die? Old Servant. Nay, forbidding thee to bring, for then thy lord was sound of wit. Clytemnestra. Why then, bearing such a scroll to me, didst not deliver it? Old Servant. Menelaus snatched it from me, cause of all these miseries. Clytemnestra. Child of Thetis, son of Peleus, hearest thou these infamies? Achilles. Yea, I hear thy sorrow, nor my part therein I tamely bear. Clytemnestra. They will slay my daughter, setting thine espousals for a snare. Achilles. Wroth am I against thy lord, I count it not a little thing. Clytemnestra. I will not think shame to bow me down unto thy knees to cling. Mortal unto child of goddess, what is matron pride to me? Lo, for whom above my daughter should I labour instantly? Ah, be thou, O goddess born, protector unto my despair, and unto the maiden named thy bride, all vainly though it were. All for thee I wreathed her, leading her to be thy bride I came to slaughter leading her, on thee shall fall reproach's shame. Who didst shield her not, for though ye ne'er were linked in marriage ties, yet the hapless maiden's husband wast thou called in any wise. By thy beard, I pray, thy right hand, by thy mother's deity, since thy name was mine undoing, see thy name untarnished be. Altar have I none to flee to, save thy knee in my distress. Not a friend is near. Of Agamemnon's cruel recklessness thou hast heard, and I am come, a woman as thou dost behold, unto this array of sea folk, lawless and to evil bold. Yet, so they be willing, strong to help, if thou but dare extend, o'er mine head thine hand, our life is saved, if not, our life hath end. Chorus. Mighty is motherhood of potent spell. All mothers for a child's life will fight hard. Achilles. My whole soul's chivalry is to action stirred. Yet hath my soul learnt temperance in grief for troubles, and in joy for triumphs won. For such men are by reason schooled to pass through life well, in cool judgment self-reliant. True, pain sometimes rewards the overwise, yet oft of self-reliance profit comes. Fostered by Chiron, one that feared God most, was I, and learned to tread no tortuous ways. And Atreus' sons, if righteously they lead, will I obey, else will I not obey. Here, as in Troy, I'll keep me free man still, and, as I may, will grace a hero's part. Thee, lady, outraged by thy nearest kin, will I, so far as such young champion can, right. So shall my compassion buckler thee. Ne'er by her father slain shall be thy child, once called my bride. I will not lend myself to be thy lord's tool in his subtle plots. Else my mere name, though it have drawn no sword, shall slay thy daughter, and the cause thereof thy lord. My very blood were murder tainted, if this maid, suffering wrongs intolerable, for my sake and my marriage be destroyed. With outrage past belief unmerited, so were I basest among Argive men, a thing of naught, and Menelaus a man. Sprung of no Peleus, but some vengeance fiend, if my name shall do butchery for thy lord. No, by the foster son of ocean's waves, Nereus, the sire of Thetis who bare me, King Agamemnon shall not touch thy child, not on her robe to lay a finger-tip. Else half barbaric Sipylus were a city, whence sprang the line of yonder war chief's house, and Phthyia's name were nowhere named of men. His meal, his laver drops of sacrifice, Calchas the seer shall rue. What is a seer? A man who speaks few truths, but many lies. When his shafts hit, who is ruined if he miss? It is not for the bride's sake. Brides untold are eager for mine hand. That this I say. But King Agamemnon hath insulted me. He ought to have asked my name's use first of me to trap his child. Chiefly through trust in me did Clytemnestra yield her lord her daughter. I had granted this to Greece, if only, so the voyage to Troy might be, had not refused to aid their cause with whom I marched to war. But now in yon chief's eyes I am as naught. To honour me or shame me is all one. Soon shall my sword know, ere it go to Troy I will disdain it with death dews of blood. If any man shall wrest from me thy daughter, calm thee. As some god strong to save, I come, though I be none. Yet will I prove me such. Chorus. Thou speakest, son of Peleus, worthily of thee, and of the sea-born goddess dread. Clytemnestra. How can I praise thee, and not overpraise, and yet not mar the grace by stint thereof? For good men praised do in a manner hate the praiser if he praiseth overmuch. I blush to thrust on thee my piteous tale. My pain is mine. Mine anguish wrings not thee. Yet is it nobly done when from his height the good man stoops to help the stricken ones. Pity me, for in piteous case am I, who first had dreamed that thou shouldst wed my child. Vain hope was mine. Next haply unto thee, ill omen for thy bridal yet to come, should be my child's death. Take thou heed thereof. Well spakest thou, the first things as the last. For if thou will it, shall my child be saved? Wouldst thou she clasp thy knees a suppliant? No maiden's part this, yet if thou think well, she shall come, lifting innocent frank eyes. But if without her I may win my suit, in maiden pride let her abide within. Yet modesty bows to hard necessity. Achilles. Nay, bring not forth thy daughter in my sight, nor, lady, risk we the reproach of fools. For this thronged host, of all home trammels free, loves evil babble of malicious tongues. In any wise the same end shall ye gain, praying or prayerless. For one mighty strife waits me from evil to deliver you. One thing be sure thou hast heard, I will not lie. If lie I do, or mock you, may I die, and only die not, if I save the maid. Clytemnestra. Heaven bless thee, who still succourest the distressed. Achilles. Now hear me, that the matter well may speed. Clytemnestra. What meanest thou? I needs must list to thee. Achilles. Let us to a better mood persuade her sire. Clytemnestra. He is something craven, fears o'ermuch the host. Achilles. Yet mightier wrestler reason is than fear. Clytemnestra. Cold hope is this. Yet say what I must do. Achilles. Beseech him first to murder not his child. If he withstand thee, come thou unto me. For if he heed thy prayer, I need not stir, since in this very yielding is her life. And friendlier so to a friend shall I appear. Nor shall the army blame me, if I bring this thing to pass by reason, not by force. If all go well, upon thy friends and thee shall gladness dawn, and that without mine aid. Clytemnestra. Ah, wise words! I must act as seems thee best. But if we shall not gain mine heart's desire, where shall I see thee? Whither shall I go in misery to find thy champion hand? Achilles. Where best befits will I keep watch for thee, that none behold thee traversing wild-eyed the Danaan host. Shame not thy father's house. For Tyndareus deserves not to be made a mock, for great is he midst Hellene men. Clytemnestra. This shall be. Rule thou. I must be thy thrall. If there be gods, thy righteousness shall earn their favour. If not, wherefore should men toil? Exeunt severally Achilles and Clytemnestra. Chorus. Oh, what bridal chant rang with the crying of the Libyan flute, with the footfall of dancers replying to the voice of the lute, with the thrill of the reed's glad greeting, in the day when o'er Pelion fleeting, unto Peleus' espousals with beating of golden shod foot, the beautiful tressed song maidens to the gods' feast came, and their bridal hymns' ravishing cadence bore Thetis' fame. O'er the hills of the Centaurs far pealing, through the woodlands of Pelion soft stealing, the new-born splendour revealing of the Aeacid's name. And Dardanus' child, whom the pinion of the eagle bore, from Phrygia, Ganymede, minion of Zeus, did pour from the gold's depths nectar, while dancing feet of the sea-maids were glancing through circles, through mazes entrancing the white sands o'er. Leaf-crowned came the Centaur riders, with their lances of pine, to the feast of the heaven abiders, and the bowls of their wine. Hail, Sea-Queen! So rang their acclaiming. A light over Thessaly flaming, sang Chiron, the unborn naming, Achilles shall shine. And, as Phoebus made clear the vision, he shall pass, sang the seer, unto Priam's proud land on a mission of fire with the spear and the shield of the Myrmidons clashing in gold. For the Fire King's crashing forges shall clothe him with flashing warrior gear. Of his mother the gift shall be given, of Thetis brought down. So did the dwellers in heaven with happiness crown the espousals of Nereus' daughter, when a bride unto Peleus they brought her, of the seed of the lords of the water, chief in renown. But men shall wreath thine head for death, thy golden hair, as heifer white and red down from the hill caves led, a victim pure, shall stain with blood thy throat's snow fair. Though never thou wert bred wherewith the herdmen strain their reed pipes thrill the air, but at thy mother's side was nursed, was decked a bride for a king's heir. What might hath now modesty's maiden face, or virtue's brow, when godlessness bears sway, and mortals thrust away virtue, and cry, give place? When lawlessness hath law downtrod, and none will to his brother say, let us beware the jealousy of God. Enter Clytemnestra. Clytemnestra. Forth of the tent to seek my lord I come, who is from his pavilion absent long, and drowned in tears mine hapless daughter is, with wails now ringing high, now moaning low, since she hath heard what death her father plots. Lo, of one even now drawn nigh I spake, yon Agamemnon, who shall straightway stand convict of sin against his very child. Enter Agamemnon. Agamemnon. O late as child, well met without the tent, I would speak with thee, ere our daughter come, of that which fits not brides to be should hear. Clytemnestra. And what is this that fits the time so well? Agamemnon. Send forth the tent, the maid to join her sire, for here the lustral waters stand prepared, and meal for hands to cast on cleansing flame, and victims that ere bridals must be slain to Artemis with spurtings of dark blood. Clytemnestra. Fair sound the things thou namest, but to thy deeds I know not how to give fair-sounding names. Daughter, come forth. To the uttermost thou know'st thy sire's design. The babe Orestes take, and bring thy brother folded in thy robes. Enter Iphigenia. Lo, she is here, obedient unto thee. The rest for her, for me, myself will speak. Agamemnon. Child, wherefore weep, and blithely look no more, but earthward bend thy vesture-shrouded eyes? Clytemnestra. Ah me! How shall I make beginning of my woes? For well may I account each one the first, midmost or last, in misery's tangled web. Agamemnon. How now? How find I each and all conspired to show me looks of trouble and amaze? Clytemnestra. Answer my question, husband, like a man. Agamemnon. No need to bid me. I would fain be asked. Clytemnestra. Thy child and mine, mean'st thou to murder her? Agamemnon. Ha! A hideous question! Foul suspicion this! Clytemnestra. Peace! Render me answer first as touching this. Agamemnon. To question fair, fair answer shalt thou hear. Clytemnestra. Naught else I ask. Thou answer me naught else. Agamemnon. O mighty doom, O fate, O fortune mine! Clytemnestra. And mine and hers, one fate for wretched three. Agamemnon. Whom have I wronged? Clytemnestra. Thou, and of me ask this? This wit of thine is utter witlessness. Agamemnon (aside). Undone am I, my secret is betrayed. Clytemnestra. I know all, yea, thy purposed crime have learnt. Thy very silence and thy groan on groan Are thy confession. Labour not with speech. Agamemnon. Lo, I am silent. Wherefore utter lies, and add unto misfortune shamelessness? Clytemnestra. Give ear now, for I will unfold my pleas, nor use half-hinting riddles any more. First, that with this I may reproach thee first, by force not of my will didst thou wed me. Thou slewest Tantalus, my sometime lord, didst dash my living babe against the stones, even from my breast with violence tearing him. Then did the sons of Zeus, my brethren twain, flashing on white steeds, come to war with thee. But mine old father Tyndareus begged thy life, who cam'st his suppliant, and thou keptest me. So reconciled to thee and to thine house, a blameless wife was I. Be witness thou, chaste in desires, increasing in thine halls, thy substance still, so that thine enterings in were joy, and thine outgoings happiness. Rare spoil is this for man to win such spouse. Of getting worthless wives there is no lack. This son, with daughters 3, to thee I bear, and of one wilt thou rob me ruthlessly. Now, if one ask thee wherefore thou wilt slay her, speak, what wilt say? Or must I speak for thee? That Helen's lord may win her? Glorious this, to pay a wanton's price in children's lives! So shall we buy things loathed with things most loved. Come, if thou go to war, and leave me here At home, and through long absence tarry there, With what heart, think'st thou, shall I keep thine halls, When vacant of her I behold each chair, Vacant each maiden bower, And sit me down in loneliness of tears, And mourn her ever? O child, he which begat thee murdered thee himself, None other, by none other hand, Leaving unto this house such vengeance debt. Seeing there needeth but faint pretext now Whereon both I and thy seed left to thee Shall greet thee with such greeting as befits. Nay, by the gods, constrain not me to turn Traitress to thee, nor such be thou to me. Lo now, thy daughter slain, what prayer wilt thou pray then? Implore what blessing, murderer of thy child? An ill home coming, since in shame thou goest. Were't just that I pray any good for thee? Oh, surely must we deem the gods be fools, If we wish blessings upon murderers. Wilt thou return to Argos, clasp thy babes? O impious thought! What child shall meet thy look, If thou hast given up one of them to death? Hast ta'en account of this? Or is it thine Only to flaunt a sceptre, lead a host? This righteous proffer shouldest thou have made. Will ye, Achaeans, sail to Phrygia land? E'en then cast lots whose daughter needs must die. This had been fair. Not that thou choose thine own, The Danaans' victim, rather than that he Whose quarrel this is, Menelaus, slay Hermione for her mother. Now must I, the loyal wife, be of my child bereft, While she, the harlot, brings her daughter home To dwell in Sparta and prosperity? Herein if I plead ill, thou answer me. But if my words ring true, repent, slay not thy child and mine, and so shalt thou be wise. Chorus. Heed her, for good it is thou join to save thy child, Agamemnon. None shall gainsay this. Iphigenia. Had I the tongue of Orpheus, O my sire, To charm with song the rocks to follow me, And witch with eloquence whomsoe'er I would, I had essayed it. Now, mine only cunning, tears will I bring, For this is all I can. And suppliant will I twine about thy knees My body, which this mother bare to thee. Ah, slay me not untimely. Sweet is light. Constrain me not to see the nether gloom. 'Twas I first called thee father, thou me child. 'Twas I first throned my body on thy knees, And gave thee sweet caresses and received. And this thy word was, ah, my little maid, Blessed shall I see thee in a husband's halls, Living and blooming worthily of me? And, as I twined my fingers in thy beard, Whereto I now cling, thus I answered thee. And what of thee? Shall I greet thy grey hairs, Father, with loving welcome in mine halls, Repaying all thy fostering toil for me? I keep remembrance of that converse yet. Thou hast forgotten, thou wouldst murder me. Ah no, by Pelops, by thy father Atreus, And by this mother, whose first travail pangs Now in this second anguish are renewed. What part have I in Paris' rape of Helen? Why, Father, should he for my ruin have come? Look on me. Give me one glance, oh, one kiss, That I may keep in death from thee but this Memorial, if thou heed my pleading not. Brother, small help canst thou be to thy friends. Yet weep with me, yet supplicate thy sire To slay thy sister not. Some sense of ill Even in wordless infants is inborn. Lo, by his silence he implores thee, Father, Have mercy, have compassion on my youth. Yea, by thy beard we pray thee, Loved ones twain, a nestling one and one a daughter grown. In one cry summing all, I must prevail. Sweet, passing sweet, is light for men to see. Death is but nothingness. Who prays to die is mad. Ill life o'erpasseth glorious death. Chorus. O thou wretch Helen, through thee and thy sin comes agony on the Atreids and their seed. End of Part 3. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Part 4 of Iphigenia in Aulis by Euripides. Translated by Arthur Sanders Way, 1847 to 1930. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Part 4. Agamemnon. I know what asketh pity, what doth not, who love mine own babes. I were madman else. Awful it is, my wife, to dare this deed, yet awful to forbear. I must do this. Mark ye yon countless host with galleys fenced, and all the brazen harnessed Hellene kings, who cannot voyage unto Ilium's towers, who cannot raise Troy's citadel renowned, but by thy blood, as Calchas saith, the seer. A fiery passion maddeneth Hellas' host to sail in all haste to the aliens' land, and put an end to rapes of Hellene wives. My daughters will they slay in Argos, you and me, if I annul the goddess Hest. Not Menelaus hath enslaved me, child, nor yet to serve his pleasure have I come. 'Tis Hellas for whom, will I not, I must slay thee. This cannot we withstand. Free must she be, so far as in thee lies, and me, child. Nor by aliens' violence must sons of Hellas of their wives be spoiled. [Exit. Clytemnestra. O child, O stranger damsel, see! Woe for thy death, alas for me! Thy father flees, to Hades yielding thee. Iphigenia. Alas for me, mother! One song for us twain Fate finds us, none other but this sad strain. Upon me shall the light and the beams of the sun shine never again. O Phrygian glade overgloomed by the crest of Ida, where laid in a snow–heapen nest was the suckling by Priam cast forth, which he tore from the mother's breast. Yea, left him to die, till the death–doom should claim Paris, whereby throughout Troy was his name. Paris of Ida, where fostered a herdman mid kine he became. Would God amid fountains of foam silvered sheen of the nymphs of the mountains his home had not been, nor where roses and bluebells for goddesses bloomed amid water meads green. Came the queen of beguiling with love litten eye, passion kindling, and smiling as for victory nigh. Came Pallas in pride of her prowess, and Hera the queen of the sky. And Hermes was there, the herald of heaven, so the strife of most fair loath contest was striven, whereof to me death, but to Danaans glory, O damsels, was given. Me the huntress receiveth for her firstfruits of prey, and mine own sire leaveth, his child doth betray, a daughter most wretched, O mother, my mother, and fleeth away. Woe's me to have seen her, Helen, whose name is a bitterness keener than words may frame. She is made to me slaughter and doom, and a father's deed of shame. Oh, had Aulis received not bronze prows long embayed! Oh, had Troy been reprieved, not while their pine wings delayed! Oh, had Zeus never breathed on Euripus the breath that our voyaging stayed! He who tempers his gales unto men as he will, some shake out glad sails, some in sorrow sit still, fate fettered, these speed from the haven, the white wings of those never fill. O travail–worn seed of the sons of a day, how fate hath decreed disaster alway! What burden of anguish did Tyndareus' child on the Danaans lay? Chorus. I pity thee for this unhappy lot found of thee. Would thou ne'er hadst come thereon. Iphigenia. Mother mine, I see a throng of men that hither hasten on. Clytemnestra. Child, 'tis he for whom thou camest hither, even Thetis' son. Iphigenia. Handmaids, ope to me the doors, that I within may hide my face. Clytemnestra. Wherefore flee, my child? Iphigenia. For shame, I cannot meet Achilles' gaze. Clytemnestra. Wherefore so? Iphigenia. With shame, the misery of my bridal crusheth me. Clytemnestra. Not in plight, for dainty shrinking, art thou when 'tis thus with thee. Tarry then, no time is this for maiden pride, if we but may. Enter Achilles. Achilles. Hapless woman, child of Leda. Clytemnestra. Truly hapless named this day. Achilles. Fearfully the Argives clamour. Clytemnestra. What their clamour? Tell the thing. Achilles. Touching this thy daughter. Clytemnestra. Ah, thy words with evil presage ring. Achilles. Slain she must be, cry they. Clytemnestra. Is there none whose words with theirs contend? Achilles. Yea, myself in tumult's peril was. Clytemnestra. What peril, stranger friend? Achilles. Even to be stoned with stones. Clytemnestra. Since thou hadst fain my daughter spared? Achilles. Even so. Clytemnestra. But lay a hand on thee? And who such deed had dared? Achilles. All the Hellenes. Clytemnestra. But with thee was not thy people's battle host? Achilles. First were these to turn against me. Clytemnestra. O my daughter, we are lost. Achilles. Taunted me as thrall to marriage. Clytemnestra. And what answer didst thou frame? Achilles. Slay my destined bride, I said, ye shall not. Clytemnestra. Yea, a righteous claim. Achilles. Whom her father promised. Clytemnestra. Yea, to Argos sent withal to bring. Achilles. Yet was I outclamoured. Clytemnestra. Ah, the rabble is a baneful thing. Achilles. Yet will I defend thee. Clytemnestra. Singly fight against a multitude? Achilles. Seest thou these who bear mine armour? Clytemnestra. Blessings on thy dauntless mood. Achilles. Yea, I shall be blessed. Clytemnestra. She shall not now be on the altar laid? Achilles. Not while I am living. Clytemnestra. How? Will any come to seize the maid? Achilles. Thousands, and Odysseus leading. Clytemnestra. He, the seed of Sisyphus. Achilles. Even he. Clytemnestra. Self-bidden? Or did all the host appoint it thus? Achilles. Chosen and consenting. Clytemnestra. Evil choice for murderous violence. Achilles. Nay, but I will stay him. Clytemnestra. Would he hale her unconsenting hence? Achilles. Yea, and by her golden tresses. Clytemnestra. What must then be done of me? Achilles. Cling unto thy child. Clytemnestra. If this may save her, slain she shall not be. Achilles. Ay, and surely unto this it will come. Iphigenia. Mother, to my word hearken ye. Against thine husband I behold the anger stirred, causelessly. 'Twere hard for us inevitable doom to brave. Meet it is we thank the stranger hero for his will to save. Yet that he be not reproached of Hellas' host must we beware. So should ruin seize him, and ourselves in no wise better fare. Hear the thing that flashed upon me, mother, as I thought hereon. Lo, resolved I am to die, and fain am I that this be done gloriously, that I thrust ignoble craven thoughts away. Prithee, mother, this consider with me, mark how well I say. Unto me almighty Hellas looks, I only can bestow boons upon her, sailing of her galleys, Phrygia's overthrow. Safety for her daughters from barbarians in the days to come, that the ravisher no more may snatch them from a happy home, when the penalty is paid for Paris' outrage, Helen's shame. All this great deliverance I in death shall compass, and my name, as of one who gave to Hellas freedom, shall be blessing crowned. Must I live, that clutching life with desperate hand I should be found? For the good of Hellenes didst thou bear me, not for thine alone. Lo, how countless warriors with the shield before the bosom thrown! Myriads now the fatherland is wronged with strenuous oar in hand. All will fear not to encounter foes, to die for Hellas land. And shall all be thwarted, baffled by the life of one, of me? Where were justice here? And what can I set forth for answering plea? Turn we now to this thing also, never ought this man to make War on all the Argives, no, nor perish for a woman's sake? Worthier than 10,000 women one man is to look on light. Lo, if Artemis hath willed to claim my body as her right, what shall I, a helpless mortal woman, thwart the will divine? Nay, it cannot be. My body unto Hellas I resign. Sacrifice me, raise ye Troy, for this through all the ages is my memorial. Children, marriage, glory, all are mine in this. Right it is that Hellenes rule barbarians, not that alien yoke rest on Hellene's mother. They be bondmen, we be freeborn folk. Chorus. Noble the part thou playest, maiden, is, but fate and Artemis ill part is theirs. Achilles. Agamemnon's child, a god came near to bless me, could I but have won thee for my bride. Happy in thee is Hellas, thou in Hellas. Well saidst thou this, and worthily of our land. Thou hast turned away from strife with gods, a thing too hard for thee, hast weighed the good fate spares. Yet love for thee now thrills me through the more, that I have seen thy nature, noble heart, wherefore look to it. Thee I fain would serve, and bear thee home. I chafe, be Thetis witness, that I should save thee not in battle shock with Danaans. Think, a fearful thing is death. Iphigenia. I say this, as one past all hope and fear. Suffice that through her beauty Tyndareus' child stirs strife and slaughter. Thou, O stranger prince, die not for me, nor slay thou any man. Let me be Hellas' saviour, if I may. Achilles. O soul heroic, naught can I say more hereto, since fixed thine heart is. Thy resolve is noble. Why should one say not the truth? But yet, for haply yet thy mood may change. That thou mayst know the proffer that I make, I go, to place my weapons nigh the altar, ready to suffer naught but bar thy death. Thou mayst, even thou, unto mine offer turn, when thou beholdest at thy throat the knife. Thou shalt not through a hasty impulse die. No, with these arms will I unto the shrine, and for thy coming thither will I wait. [Exit. Iphigenia. Mother, why art thou weeping silently? Clytemnestra. Good cause have I, woe's me, to break mine heart. Iphigenia. Forbear, make me not craven, but this do. Clytemnestra. Speak, thou shalt have no wrong of me, my child. Iphigenia. Shear not for me the tresses of thine hair, neither in sable stole array thy form. Clytemnestra. Why say'st thou this? When I have lost thee, child. Iphigenia. Nay, I am saved. Thy glory shall I be. Clytemnestra. How sayest thou? Must I not mourn thy death? Iphigenia. Nay, nay, no grave mound shall be heaped for me. Clytemnestra. How then? In death is burial not implied? Iphigenia. Zeus' daughter's altar is my sepulchre. Clytemnestra. Child, I will do thy bidding, thou say'st well. Iphigenia. As one blessed, benefactor of our Greece. Clytemnestra. What message to thy sisters shall I bear? Iphigenia. Them too array thou not in sable stole. Clytemnestra. Shall I bear them some word of love from thee? Iphigenia. Only farewell. To manhood rear this babe. Clytemnestra. Embrace him, for the last time look on him. Iphigenia. To Orestes. Dearest, thou gav'st us all the help thou couldst. Clytemnestra. Can I do aught at home to pleasure thee? Iphigenia. My father and thine husband hate not thou. Clytemnestra. A fearful course for thy sake must he run. Iphigenia. Sore loth for Hellas' sake hath he destroyed me. Clytemnestra. By guile unkingly, unworthy Atreus' son. Iphigenia. Who will lead me ere men drag me by mine hair? Clytemnestra. I will go with thee. Iphigenia. Nay, thou say'st not well. Clytemnestra. Grasping thy vesture. Iphigenia. Heed me, mother mine. Tarry! For thee, for me, 'tis better so. Let one of my sire's henchmen lead me on To Artemis' meadow, where I shall be slain. Clytemnestra. Child, art thou gone? Iphigenia. I shall return no more. Clytemnestra. Leaving thy mother? Iphigenia. As thou seest, 'tis hard. Clytemnestra. Hold! Oh, forsake me not. Iphigenia. Nay, shed no tear. Clytemnestra enters the tent. Ye damsels, raise all hails of happy speed. The paean for my lot to Zeus' child Artemis. Bid the host keep reverent hush. Bring maunds of sacrifice, let blaze the flame With purifying meal, and let my sire Compass the altar rightward. Lo, I come To give to Hellas safety victory crowned. Raises the processional chant. Lead me for Ilium's, Phrygia's overthrowing. Give to me garlands, bring festooning flowers. Lo, my locks wait the blossoms overstrowing, The lustral laver showers. To Artemis the queen, blessed goddess treading A measure, fane and altar compass ye. I wash the curse out with the hallowed shedding Of blood, if this must be. Mother, for thee my fount of pity streameth now, For I may not at the altar weep. Sing, maidens, Artemis, whose temple gleameth Toward Kalchis o'er the deep. From where in Aulis' straitened havens, Shaken in fury, spears are at my name uptossed. Hail, motherland Pelasgia! Hail, forsaken Mycenae, home, home lost! Chorus. Dost thou on the city of Perseus cry, By the toil of the Cyclopes builded high? Iphigenia. For a light unto Hellas thou fosterest me, And I die, oh, freely I die for thee. Chorus. Yea, for thy glory shall never die. Iphigenia. Hail, light divine! Hail, day, in whose hands doth the world's torch shine! In a strange new life must I dwell, And a strange new lot must be mine. Farewell, dear light, farewell. Chorus. See who for Ilium's, Phrygia's overthrowing, With her fair hair for death bestarred with flowers, Is to the sacrificial altar going, Besprent with laver showers. Yea, to the altar of the murder lover, To sprinkle it with thine outrushing life, Whose crimson all thy shapely neck shall cover, Gashed by the fearful knife. For thee the lustral dews of thy sire's pouring Wait. The Achaean thousands Troyward strain. Chant we Zeus' child, the huntress queen adoring, For oh, thy loss is gain. Joyer in human blood, to Phrygia's far land Speed thou the host, to Troy the treason shore. So crown the king, crown Hellas with a garland Of glory evermore. Enter Messenger. Messenger. Daughter of Tyndareus, Clytemnestra, come Forth from the tent that thou mayst hear my tale. Enter Clytemnestra. Clytemnestra. I heard thy voice, and hitherward I come, Wretched with horror, all distraught with fear, Lest thou have brought to crown the present woe Some fresh one. Messenger. Nay, but fain am I to tell, Touching thy child, a strange and awesome thing. Clytemnestra. Linger not, then, but tell it with all speed. Messenger. Yea, all, dear mistress, clearly shalt thou learn, From the beginning told, except my tongue, Through my mind's turmoil, falter in the tale. when to the grove we came of Artemis, Zeus's child, and to her meadows flower bestarred, the place of muster for Achaea's host, leading thy child, straightway the Argive throng gathered. But when King Agamemnon saw the maid for slaughter entering the grove, he heaved a groan, he turned his head away, weeping, and drew his robe before his eyes. But to her father's side she came and stood, and said, "My father, at thine hest I come, and for my country's sake my body give, and for all Hellas to be led of you unto the goddess' altar, willingly, and sacrificed if this is heaven's decree. Prosper so far as rests with me, and win victory and return to fatherland. Then let no Argive lay a hand on me. Silent, unflinching will I yield my neck." So spake she. And all marvelled when they heard the maiden's courage and her heroism. Forth stood Talthybius then, whose part it was proclaiming silence and a reverent hush. And the seer Calchas in a golden maund laid down a keen knife which his hand had drawn out of its sheath, then crowned the maiden's head. Then Peleus' son took maund and lustral bowl, and round the altar of the goddess ran, and cried, "Zeus' daughter, slayer of wild beasts, whose wheels of light roll splendours through the gloom, accept this offering which we render thee, Achaea's host, with Agamemnon king, the unsullied blood from a fair maiden's neck, and grant the galleys voyaging unvexed, and grant our spears may spoil the towers of Troy." With bowed heads Atreus' sons and all the host stood. The priest took the knife, he spake the prayer, he scanned her throat for fittest place to strike. Then through my soul exceeding anguish thrilled, mine head drooped. Lo, a sudden miracle! For each man plainly heard the blow strike home, but the maid, none knew whither she had vanished. Loud cried the priest, all echoed back the cry. Seeing a portent by some god sent down unlooked for, past belief, albeit seen. For gasping on the ground there lay a hind, most huge to see, and passing fair to view, with whose blood all the goddess' altar ran. Then Calchas cried, how gladly ye may guess, "O chieftains of this leagued Achaean host, see ye this victim by the goddess laid before her altar, even a mountain hind? This holds she more acceptable than the maid, that she stain not with noble blood her altar. Gladly she hath accepted this, and grants to us fair voyage and onset upon Troy. Be of good cheer then, every mariner. Hence to the galleys, for this day must we fleet out of Aulis' hollow bays, and cross the Aegean surge." So when the victim all was burnt to ashes in the fire god's flame, meet prayer he offered for the host's return. Me Agamemnon sped to tell thee this, and say what heaven-sent fortune fair he hath, what deathless time through Hellas he hath won. Lo, I was there, and speak as one who saw. Doubtless thy child was wafted to the gods. Forbear grief, cease from wrath against thy lord. Of mortals unforeseen the gods' ways are, and whom they love they save. For this same day, dying and living, hath beheld thy child. Chorus. How glad I hear the messenger's report! He saith thy child bides living midst the gods. Clytemnestra. O daughter, of what god stolen art thou? How shall I bid farewell to thee? How know this for aught but a sweet lie, spoken to heal the heart that for thee is broken? Chorus. Lo, there King Agamemnon draweth nigh, bearing the selfsame tale to tell to thee. Enter Agamemnon. Agamemnon. Wife, for our child's fate happy may we be, for she in truth hath fellowship with gods. Now must thou take this weanling little one, and journey home, for seaward looks the host. Farewell. It shall be long ere thee I greet, from Troy returning. Be it well with thee. Chorus. Pass Atria's Scion to Phrygia's land with joy, and with joy from the battle toil come, bearing the glorious spoil of Troy. Exeunt omnes. End Part 4. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. End of Iphigenia in Aulis by Euripides. Translated by Arthur Sanders Way. 1847 to 1930.